MAGA Mike Johnson, the Republican Speaker of the House, is encountering a significant challenge. His time as leader could be at risk sooner than anticipated, particularly given the special election taking place today in Tennessee. There is a strong possibility a Democrat could manage a major upset, which might prompt other MAGA Republicans in Congress to consider leaving. Whispers suggest that a number of resignations might be looming. Recently, as the special election in Tennessee's 7th congressional district approached, MAGA Mike appeared quite concerned. He swiftly traveled to Tennessee wearing a Trump-Pence jacket that had the number 47 stitched on it.
Remember, he's got a majority of three. And there aren't many people can do that, but we have to win this seat. We've gotten you the largest tax cuts in history. And the new bill, the great big beautiful bill, kicks in, as you know, on January 1st. Hasn't even kicked in yet. And then you have no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. If you borrow money to buy a car, you get a deduction that's never happened before. All these things kick in on January 1st. A lot of people don't know. They said, oh, they already kicked in. I said, no, it doesn't start until January 1st. So that was the first date. I just want to thank everybody. I love Tennessee, one of my all-time favorite places. And Tennessee, I guess, loves me because we won by the biggest margins anybody's ever won by. So
he showed up with his mobile device, instructing everyone nearby to listen closely to what Donald Trump was saying. In this particular Tennessee race, we have a MAGA Republican candidate, Matt Van Epps, who is openly eager to back Trump's intense agenda. Conversely, there is the Democratic candidate, Afton Bain, whose campaign is centered on pro-democracy and affordability. Interestingly, Donald Trump chose not to show up in the district, possibly uneasy about facing negative reception. Instead, he dispatched MAGA Mike in his Trump gear to a small, private room, certainly not a venue for large gatherings like those Afton Bain attracts. Then, Magic picks up his phone and proclaims, "Everyone, pay attention. I have Donald on the line." That's the point when Trump launches into a long criticism of Afton Bain, asserting that she dislikes country music and Christian faith.
Okay, Andrew, go ahead, and then you.
In wake of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor
Go ahead
Greene's early resignation, reports last week indicated that other House Republicans might consider doing the same. Does the president have any concerns in light of those reports about other House Republicans potentially leaving early, as well as the other announced retirements that we saw in the last couple of days?
Look, I think the president maintains very good relationships with the vast majority, maybe with the exception of one or two. I think many in this room know who I'm referring to. Very good relationships with members of Capitol Hill within the Republican Party. And the president clearly is the unequivocal leader of the Republican Party. I think it was a recent CNN poll that actually showed that more than 90% of Republicans continue to support President Trump as the leader. So he maintains very good relations, as does his entire team here at the White House. And of course, we have a very slim.
Magic merely stands there, listening intently, nodding as though captivated by every syllable Trump utters. It's genuinely shocking that he delivered that statement publicly. And just a brief reminder, remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel for more reliable reporting. Let's hear that audio segment of MAGA Mike once more. Meanwhile, back at the White House, reporters were actively asking during a briefing about MAGA Mike's current stability. There was talk about the possibility of him losing his position as Speaker and questions regarding members potentially leaving the party before the midterms.
There's no question on many key votes coming up over the next several months, Matt Van Epps will be the hero. I mean, he will be the deciding vote. There's no question about it. And it will make all the difference for the entire country.
Caroline Leavitt, widely recognized as Trump's primary communicator, understood why MAGA Mike might be feeling a bit nervous. Andrew, please proceed. In Tennessee, MAGA Mike was busy with interviews, including a discussion on Supertalk 99.7 WTN. He made a noteworthy statement regarding Matt Van Epps, stating that he will be the critical vote required for Trump's political goals. This is a very concerning prospect for many people in Tennessee who are already struggling with the effects of tariffs, struggling farmers, and diminishing health care access.
We're so close. I think this race is a lot closer than they would have ever expected. Clearly, I'm living rent-free in President Trump's mind, but sir, I'm a 5'4" blonde in the South, just trying to make my community better. But okay, you do you. When we win tomorrow night, it will send a message to Washington that we are fed up and we are tired of all of this, and we deserve representation. They cut up our congressional district into 3, and it's backfiring. And now here we are, and we're going to flip a congressional district in the South. So thank you so much. Very honored to be part of this with you all. I'm so overwhelmed with gratitude. I can't even begin to tell you. So tonight we've got a rally with Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Tennessee legend Al Gore.
Especially in rural zones where hospitals face imminent closure. He subsequently took the platform promoting Van Epps and highlighting that he is a devoted father and a genuinely good person. There are existing accusations suggesting his involvement with questionable activities such as the so-called Pedophile Protection Initiative linked to child trafficking.
Good evening. I'm John Rose, and I'm here with Scott Golden, our state party chairman, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, and the next United States Congressman from the 7th District of Tennessee, Matt Van Epps. And we're here to tell all of you Tennessee voters tonight to come out tomorrow and let's send Matt Van Epps across the finish line with a great victory. Speaker, what do you have to say about that?
Every single vote is going to count. This is a special election. They really are special animals. It's off season, and it's during a holiday, so people are going to take for granted that our Republican conservative is going to win. We need a conservative in this district because it is a conservative district, but you cannot take it for granted. So every single vote counts. Please vote. Bring your friends, your neighbors, your friends from church. It's really going to matter this time.
Scott, what do you think?
Listen, we got the best candidate. We are proud of who we're supporting. We do not need to let our opponent get to Washington, D.C.
Van Epps did confirm he would maintain the Trump administration's approach concerning the Epstein files, which causes one to speculate precisely how far he's willing to go in his support of Trump's policies. Following a rather lackluster speech from Donald Trump to a minimal audience, Afton Bain responded with a clever remark about how she is clearly occupying space in Trump's thoughts. It is a tumultuous situation, and it truly feels like we are right on the verge of something pivotal here.
We do see costs declining and coming down, but it takes time. We had 4 years of profligate federal spending that created the worst inflation in a generation. So it's going to take time. But you do see, for example, in Tennessee, I filled up this week for $2.39 a gallon, prices we haven't seen in a long time. And if you look at the broader statistics, we see that the cost of living are coming down. This Thanksgiving was less expensive than last Thanksgiving. So we just have to have the patience to see these policies through to fruition. We're starting to see that happen. When we get to January 1st and we see many of the One Big Beautiful Law tax cuts start to come into play in a more real way for Americans, I think they're going to start to see the real hit in their pocketbook, and we see wages up.
Now, turning to a slightly different topic, let's discuss some of the other individuals backing MAGA Mike as Matt Van Epps campaigns in this special election.
Disaster if it holds towards the midterm elections. And I should note, of course, it's not alone. I mean, just take a look here. This is Gallup. This is the longest running poll. You know, Gallup has been conducting polls since my father was a kid, and my father was born in 1927, had me in his 60s. Look at this in January. Donald Trump's net approval rating, not too bad, not too great. It was at -1 point, right within the margin of error, breaking even. But look at this now. Negative 24 points, way, way down. We're talking about a drop of over 20 points in the wrong direction for the President of the United States. Minus 24 points, that's a 23-point move in the incorrect direction if you're the president. And of course, what's so important here, Sarah Seidner, is it matches the trend that we've seen with other polls. That is Donald Trump hitting his low for the second term. I was doing the count last night. I think we're up to 10 polls in sort of the last 40 days, 10 different pollsters who have said that.
Among those lending their support is John Rose, the MAGA Republican congressman from Tennessee's 6th Congressional District, which is directly adjacent to the 7th Congressional District where Matt is running. They collaborated on this somewhat unusual video, and it is certainly worth viewing. Following that, John Rose appeared on what some refer to as state regime media, also known as Fox, on their business network.
Their momentum is no fluke, as Republicans are now fending off a potential upset in what's usually a very reliably red district. It includes parts of Nashville, Tennessee. CNN's Eva McKen is on the ground in these final hours of campaigning in this special House race.
A special election Tuesday in a heavily Republican congressional district in Tennessee is emerging as an unlikely political battleground, with Democrats eyeing an upset.
I don't care who you voted for. I don't care what political party you belong to, but if you are upset about the cost of living and the chaos of Washington, then I'm your candidate.
Democrat Afton Bain, a state representative and progressive organizer, is centering her campaign on affordability, seeking to harness the party's momentum after big wins in Virginia and New Jersey last month. But in a district that Donald Trump carried by 22 points.
He confidently claimed that residents in Tennessee are prospering and that the entire nation is doing well, asserting that costs are decreasing. This is the main message they wish to communicate. Therefore, MAGA Republicans are aggressively advancing their political goals in Tennessee, and it is valuable to hear their perspective. There is a clip where someone suggests that the cost of living is falling, mentioning that this year's Thanksgiving meal was genuinely more affordable than the previous year.
The one that urged the chairman in the committee to move forward the subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell. I think we need to get to the bottom of it. And I think President Trump wants to get to the bottom of it. And you know good and well, if Trump was on any of those files, anything that was bad and negative towards him, the Biden administration would have put it out. They had it for 4 years. Trump knew this guy, and he said he was a dirtbag. He banned him from Mar-a-Lago over 15 years ago before he was suicided. So I just think this thing is a bad situation. And I don't know if we'll ever get to the bottom of it, because I don't trust the Biden administration, because they had those files for 4 years. I don't know what they've removed or doctored or changed. I don't trust them as far as I could throw the dome off the Capitol, brother. And dadgummit, we need to get to the bottom of it. That's why people, when you delay these things.
However, it seems that the American public is not entirely convinced by this optimistic outlook. John Enan reports on the findings of the latest Gallup poll, and the results are quite worrying as we approach the midterm elections. And speaking of precarious situations, there was a segment aired on CNN regarding a congressional district that was generally considered secure for Republicans, a district that previously favored Trump by a substantial 22 points. The Republicans are now seriously concerned as the contest is essentially even.
The president is on the ballot in 2026. President Trump is on the ballot next fall. Because if we lose the majority, if the Republicans, the common sense people here who are doing the job for the American people, if we lose the majority in the House and this radical element of the Democrat Party were able to take over, we've already seen that movie. They will try to end the Trump administration. He won't have 4 years, he'll have only 2. And they will try to systematically unwind all the important reforms that we've done.
It's fascinating to observe the dynamics changing. And regarding MAGA Republicans, there is another one named Tim Burchett, who has been seen alongside Matt Van Epps and MAGA Mike. It's interesting to note his perspective during the government shutdown when he was questioned about the necessity of the House being in session. Then Tim Burchett interjected, bringing up concerns about the Department of Justice and the Epstein files.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is holding a tele-rally for you. Are you in line with her ideologically?
Like I said, I think that there is a strain of the Democratic Party that cares about holding corporations accountable and lowering costs for working families. And my politics are in alignment of that. As a state legislator, I've worked to eliminate Tennessee's regressive grocery tax. As an organizer, I work to make healthcare more affordable in the state of Tennessee. And so I think those are the Democratic leaders and candidates that I really resonate with, are those that are trying to lower costs for working families.
Yeah, because Trump has been calling you, quote, the AOC of Tennessee. So, I mean, aren't you just feeding into that narrative by appearing with her?
Like I said, we're really grateful for the support across the.
He made a point of pressing the chairman to push for a subpoena for Ghislaine Maxwell, saying, "We absolutely must get to the bottom of this entire matter." In addition to all this, there has been some conversation about MAGA Mike's unease about potentially losing the majority in the House. What he truly fears is that impeachment might be on the horizon for Trump, with individuals like Matt Van Epps attempting to prevent it. It is an intriguing scenario, and here is what MAGA Mike had to say concerning it. Now, I spoke with Afton Bain, and she offered some interesting comments when asked about the insults from Donald Trump and MAGA Mike, who labeled her the AOC of Tennessee. Tomorrow, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is holding a virtual rally for you. Do you share her ideology? Like I stated, I believe there is a faction of the Democratic Party dedicated to holding corporations accountable and reducing expenses for working families, and my political stance is in alignment with that. As a state legislator, I have worked to eliminate Tennessee's unfair grocery tax. As an organizer, I work to make health care more affordable within the state of Tennessee. And so I believe those are the Democratic leaders and candidates that I most connect with, those who are striving to lower costs for working families. Yes, because Trump has been calling you the AOC of Tennessee. So aren't you merely contributing to that perception by appearing with her? Like I stated, we are genuinely thankful for the support we've received from across the political spectrum. And if you and your listeners are interested, the town hall also includes former Vice President Al Gore, who is a Tennessee icon. So I view it as symbolic that you have Democrats from all political backgrounds uniting in this moment and affirming, we are opposing what is occurring in Washington, and we seek to be part of the solution rather than the problem. It truly is a pivotal time we are currently experiencing, and this specific election is turning out to be very important. I will continue to be here to provide you with updates on every development and shift as things progress.